Welcome to episode 51. You're on approach.
63, climb in, 13 down.
13,000, 63.
63, contact the New York Center, 128.3.
28-3, Blue 63, good day. Hello, Captain.
Welcome to another great week, everybody. With me, Mr. Spark Smudge on this side, and Mr. Biarzed on that side. And hello. Miss Tootsie is back over there, but you can't see her. What you can see is my studio prop here, my La Croix water. I learned recently from a producer friend of mine that I'm gonna ruin a lot of shows for you guys. That very often when a producer needs a drink in a shot, they choose this stuff. Now, every show you watch on TV, you'll see this. You can't unsee it once you know, because lately everything we watch is like, oh, there's La Croix. It's good. Am I saying that right, Kevin?
Are you getting paid for that, Edson?
No, I'm not, and I should be. But that, but I think that that's the inside joke, is that they don't like none of them get the product placement, but they just all decided, well, fuck it. We don't need to stage other drinks and try to get product placement. Let's just all give this free product placement. Makes life easy, right? Like, makes it easy. Because they have like 58 million flavors of it. So you'll see like an orange can, a purple can, a pink can, a green can, and it just looks like all different drinks, but it's all La Croix.
I never had those.
So
I don't know how they taste.
So it's sparkling water. It's sparkling water, right? So carbonated water. But the good thing about it, and what Kathleen turned me on, because for me, sparkling water was sparkling water. It was just like, who cares? They're all sparkling waters. But she pointed out that most of the sparkling waters have sodium, which is salt. And this has zero salt. It's one of the few that have zeros down the entire label. Like, it is just pure zeros. It is water and carbonation. So this one is lime. It's one of my favorites, and it's the one you can almost never find in stores. Like, if you ever go to the section, you'll always see that they have all the other ones, but the lime ones, there might be one box all the way in the back of the shelf. Lime is hard to find. The lemon is too lemony. The pure water one is really good. It's a blue can. It's just water flavored. It's just water. But the other popular one is Pamplemousse. Pamplemousse, which is
Pamplemousse.
Pamplemousse.
Yeah, there you go. You got it.
Pamplemousse, but it's great. It's grapefruit. It's grapefruit, and that's like the other popular one. So lime, grapefruit, and then like anything else really. But yeah, sparkling water.
I'll try that.
Try it out. It's what got me off of soda, man. And honestly, at work, we get these as well. And, you know, I've gotten a lot of people off of soda by saying, yo, just try this for like a week. Like, just don't drink soda, but try this for a week. Sugar, you know, in our sodas today isn't what it was before, right? Like, it's not pure sugar. It's high fructose corn syrup, which...
Well, my guess is that that's the reason why it's so popular now. It's because it's a healthy alternative to soda.
Yeah.
And that no one caught up to that yet.
We've got episode 51 to do. Let's get to that. Let's get to the news. Kicking off with our popular contributors this week. This is our top 10 contributors on the website. Without their contributions, we would have nothing to talk about on episode 51. Here we go, from the top in a #1 spot once again, Angeli662. Bravo, sir, bravo, bravo. Thank you for some excellent topics. Following very closely behind, however, this week, moving up in the ranks, Gibbon in a #2 spot, Beach08NH in a #3 spot, Ivana Fly down at #4. Wow.
She's getting old.
Ivana's slacking. Tomcat UK rounds out the Sky 5 club. Then we have Mr. Noodle, Mr. Tarpoon, Cobus Van Wyk, Bucknatic60, and new to the board this week, Papa G in a #10 slot. Thank you guys once again. Keep the topics coming at the skylounge.tv. Without you, we've got nothing to talk about. An update, new previews of the Aerosoft Airbus Professional Series. I'm excited for this one. How about you guys?
Yeah, definitely. This is I know there's other Airbuses out there, but I had the first you know what I mean. I had the first Aerosoft Airbus, and the A320-21, and it was brilliant. I thought it was brilliant.
Agreed. I learned on this series. I learned on the Airbus series. It was my first
it was so
venture.
good. I got the 18 and 19 as well.
Yeah, this was my first venture into the commercial world of aviation in a learning capacity, right? Like not just get it into the sky to take screenshots, but in an actual learning capacity. And this was a challenge from this guy right here, Mr. Kevin, if you remember. He provided the immersion pack, and Aerosoft, thank you, provided the Airbus series for me to challenge myself with actually learning these. And man, it was a blast. But that kicked off a whole new segment of my streams, really, because after this came, you know, the Boeings and then some. Highly recommended this, the Airbus series by Aerosoft. Highly recommended.
Yeah, I mean, we're revisiting this every once in a while because they keep pushing out previews and updates on the development process. I have the same words now that I have at the beginning. It's a beautiful model. It's a beautiful avionic. The work that they're doing is great on the aircraft. It's going to be great when it's released. It's not really comparable to the flight sim labs that we have out there right now because they're both on different classes of the spectrum. Yeah, give me an A330. That's all I have to say.
I think that's what everyone's waiting for.
A380.
Nah,
that's not coming in this package at all.
You know what? The real aircraft will die before we'll see an A380.
Yeah. It won't even be in service.
Yeah, or they'll stop doing it before we have an actual aircraft we can fly in sim.
And that's not shit talk. Let that be a challenge.
Yeah,
that's not shit talk. Like that's my genuine belief too. Like it's just I can only imagine the amount of work that it takes to to develop this stuff systems wise. I mean, just look at this fleet, right? They already had Airbuses built.
Yeah.
This has been forever. Growing old, waiting for these. Detail, right? Like, that's a lot of nice detail. That's a lot of nice detail. Stuff we didn't really get and see in the prior.
I mean, look in the door there. Just look in the doors. And you can see, cabinets and.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a lot of beautiful detail.
Yeah, the 3D, they've done an incredible job with the 3D model. And I'm really glad they did that. It's a great improvement on the previous versions. And yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Do we know if they've modeled the interior at all?
The cabin.
Yeah, I don't know about the actual cabin. But I do know that the flight deck looks a lot sharper than it ever looked.
Look at this picture. Look at this picture, the emergency cancel button at the bottom left.
It just keeps getting my attention.
Yeah, the small details like this. It looks beautiful. I like that.
Back to the exterior. Ooh, that should have a censored tag over it.
Look at my bottom.
That's very revealing.
Sort of looking at the arse end of a cat, isn't it?
I keep saying though, the A320 is not a beautiful aircraft itself.
Oh no, it's very grey and boring and
it's as boring as an aircraft can be.
But look at the details in that. Look at this. Look at the straps on the seat.
Yeah, they managed
tried.
They managed to make it interesting to look at.
Yeah.
3D wise and modeling wise. But when I was doing the pictures for the A320 immersion and the video, I found it incredibly boring, and it was very, very hard to find an angle that was interesting for that aircraft. And it's not the way it's modeled. It's just that the aircraft is that way naturally.
It's very sterile, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very hospital-like.
Yes. Now this little detail, you've seen all the hype about this, yeah? Actual printing.
Yeah.
Yep.
The rain, yeah.
Rain on the windshield
there.
Which, by the way, looks absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, very, very cool. This one brought to you by our friends at FS Elite. Thank you very much for the story. Definitely looking to keep track of this one. I don't know when actual release date is. I don't think there's been an update to an actual release date on it.
Nah.
But we'll just
but looking at those shots, I don't think it's going to be far off. I reckon it'll be like summertime, maybe.
Brought to us by Papa G, new flight simulator. Kevin, I think this is something we got a peek at one of the flight sim events. That's it. I'm just gonna call them events.
Yeah,
and then I'm gonna go by the domain name flightsimevents.com.
Yeah, that would work. You should buy that.
Be taken.
Oh my god. Is it? Oh, Jesus Christ.
No, it won't, suckers. Now that that's done, at one of the flight sim events.
All right. He actually did it. Just to be clear.
I actually did. At one of the flight sim events, TM, we got to take a look at this, or the beginnings of this product. Papa G posts a quote and he says, well, we're developing a next generation flight simulator and we'll be sharing our progress regularly via this website. We're looking forward to sharing our progress with the community and we'll be paying close attention to your feedback. Check out FlyInside.
Is Papa G part of the team, or he's just quoting?
He's just quoting this. Yeah, he's just quoting this. But this is by the folks from FlyInside, who do the VR utility for Flight Simulator.
Basically, Geniuses Incorporated.
Okay, go. The story is yours.
That's what they are. I mean, they went over boundaries with their FlyInside application for P3D and X-Plane. So
beautifully said. They went over the boundaries. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like introducing like 3D models in the cockpit, do like a sub-wrap thing for the VR headsets, and all sorts of interaction with the what was it called? There's a module you can use for seeing your hands in the cockpit and interaction like this. That's just insane. And they've showcased it at Flight SimCon last year, that simulator we're seeing now, and it was in the very, very early stages. They had a partnership with TFDI to port some of their aircraft, and apparently you can use P3D and FSX aircraft in there.
You can,
which is mind-blowing to me. It's like, it's absolutely insane if they're able to do that.
Because I think what we're looking at is potentially either the Captain Sim or the Milviz 732.
Yeah, I
think it's the Captain Sim.
Yeah, that looks like the Captain Sim. But a thing that I'm wondering is if they bought an ISP license from Microsoft to be able to use the code to run the gauges, and they stripped the entire thing down and only use the part of the aircraft to be able to load them into the sim. Or if it's something they did from scratch, because the performance looks absolutely insane.
That looks incredible. It's all photoreal.
Yeah. And there are a few cues that I can, see with my eyes that reminds me of an older version of FSX.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if they based themselves on that.
Pull up.
Look at the chopper. Though.
Too low. Pull up. Too low.
Yeah, that's important. That's important to note, right? Like the clouds. We look at the beginnings of weather, but like, let's be real, right? It has to start somewhere.
Just inject Active Sky into it.
It's a great start, and I mean, if it's based on the ESP platform, which I sort of believe it sort of is, that's great. That's because you have the entire planet, right? I don't know if that's the case, but it would seem like it.
Look at that distance rendering, man.
Yeah, look at that shading as well. It looks like the atmospheric effects as well.
It does.
It looks like X-Plane.
It is primarily going to be for VR, though.
Yeah,
right.
It's going to be VR centric, and I think
right.
it's great that we have a sim that's dedicated to that.
Yeah. No, this is looking absolutely amazing.
So don't expect your flashy graphics. Don't expect your Dvetsky design cities to be put into it and stuff, because it'll just drag it down so slow that your VR would be useless.
Well, I believe that there is space for third parties on this. If the third parties are developing it with the mindset that it's going to be ran in VR, I mean, they will adapt it for it. And if the platform is well coded at its core, then great, you know. But no, it's location specific, so it's not worldwide like I would have thought. But how does that compare to Aerofly though? Because they're both on the same. It's on the same.
That's what I would put on the same level. Yeah, I would say that this is on the level with Aerofly as far as like the future development of flight sim. It's interesting. So location number 1 will be Europe, with North America just behind. Scenery is nearly complete and following up with Europe soon after launch. Requested features, VR, weather, scenery, and so you would think that they're working on VR being a full part of this. Yeah,
that's nice.
Yeah,
that's very nice. I don't see personally myself using this. I understand that it's for VR and stuff like that. I'm curious how you'll be able to make long flights and transatlantic and all that stuff, because in my brain, if the sim doesn't have a full world, it's not a sim for me.
Yeah,
that's like for me that's a given. But
agreed.
It has some purposes for very specific occasions, and I think it will be great for training. It will be great for so many things.
Flight sim for me is about exploring the entire world. And it's not only the entire world, but the entire world and all its beautiful scenarios, right? Like, we know that here in the San Francisco Bay, you've got fog early in the mornings. You've got fog that moves in the evenings, but in the middle of the day, there's no fog. And you know that it doesn't really snow here, but if you go just north a bit or just east a bit, because of the climates there, you're gonna see snow right away, like in Tahoe and whatnot. And I love the transition of those scenarios, being able to fly around the world and fly out of sun and into snow. That to me is flight simulation. It's not only like the simulation of flight, it's the simulation of like travel. It's the simulation of experience. Without that, it doesn't feel like a flight sim to me. It feels like a game.
Yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely, you got it exactly right.
Now, that is cool. I would love to see FlyInside, guys. I would love to see a screenshot of that doing a Sky 5, though. You make that happen. A big blue Sky 5 for us. That's awesome. That's so cool.
Now, I hope that they won't abandon the idea of developing.
That's Captain Sim.
Yeah, definitely. I hope they'll stay on their ideas of developing for the current platforms that we have, because we definitely need it.
Alpha India Romeo says, it's awesome and looks very good, but why not focus our energy into X-Plane 11, P3D or Flight Sim World? To which Papa G replies, I have P3D X-Plane 11, including the VR add-on, Flight Sim World, Aerofly FS2, and DCS. I have the current FlyInside VR add-on for P3D. I'm interested in being part of the best, whichever it turns out to be. That's our community right there. Like, I love it, right? You've got this variety in everything.
Well, that's the thing, that's the thing. It's like me. I mean, I'm like him. I don't have the Aerofly and I don't have FlyInside because I don't have the VR stuff.
Right.
But, I got DCS, I got FSX, P3D, the whole shebang. And one will win out in the end. But I've got them all.
Yeah. And Angeli says, DCS and Aerofly FS2. If it looks better than those, with better performance, why not? And he uses the Giphy. And it's so true, right? Like, if those are going to be that person, this is Angeli's measure. If those are his personal measures, and if it gets better than his personal measure right now, why not, man? Open community. To which Papa G responds, you are so right. Once they completely work out the controls for VR, Aerofly FS2 should be awesome. Such a beautiful, civil debate of opinions. Like, it's absolutely, I love the lounge. I love you guys. Thank you for the story, Papa G. Black Box Simulations BN2 Islander previews. Sparky, this one is on your plate, man. This one is on your plate. I know you love your Islander. And who makes the Islander that you fly?
I have no idea.
Do you know why you have no idea? Because it's old as hell. That's why.
It is old.
It's time. It's time that we get a new Islander. I don't know if I'm happy that it's Black Box doing it, but I'm
not happy that it's Black Box.
But I think that perception comes from their renditions of commercial aircraft. Okay, now we get to judge them on something different.
Let's not knock them right yet. Let's not knock them right yet. Now the Islander is a classic plane. It's the Britain Norman Islander, as most people will know, and it's an island hopper. It's short haul. Take you from Scotland over to Barra or somewhere like. It's just an island hopper. And looking at the first screenshot, it looks plastic.
It does.
Plastic. Maybe a little work with the paint kit or the shaders. I don't know. It might make it look better, but they got a very good variety of liveries out the box. All the classic ones. So you got the Skybus, and you've got the what's the classic one? The Great Barrier Reef.
Great Barrier Reef, right?
Yeah. So you got some nice liveries, but when you get inside, this is where things change a little bit for my perception, because I think the inside looks absolutely fucking gorgeous.
Here's the classic, right? The Win Air. I think everybody knows.
Yeah.
The Win Air. We have DLT. Oh my gosh, there are some liveries. So, Black Box steps up to the plate here.
I think it looks gorgeous, and it's worn well. The weathering's good on it. It looks old. It looks like it's been used.
It does.
I like it.
I'm analyzing it, and
you're taking it all in.
Yeah, I don't know if I care or not.
Personally, if you could take out the GPS and put in a
GTN,
the GTN, that'd be golden.
Why is the frame completely different of the GPS? You notice that?
There is something about the materials that I don't like. The specular effect of the reflection of the light and the material that they use. It's
that every single surface, regardless of surface type, has the same type of reflection.
Yeah.
Everything, whether it's the dashboard or the yoke or the outside or the knob. I mean, everything has the same exact level of reflectivity.
And I think I now that I'm thinking of it, that's the reason why I don't like the interior of the 330 that they make, because of that material issue. Now that I'm thinking of it, that's great, because the modeling looks legit. It looks good, but the texturing inside and outside. I think that's where it needs some work.
Looks like a few variations of the inside as well, though, huh?
A few variations. Look at those seats.
There's no depth to them. That's exactly what's missing. There's no depth.
Look at the way the edge of the sheet is shining. Yeah, that's the same exact level of reflectivity as the dashboard had, as the tops of the yoke had. So you come to feel like, oh, this is hard plastic, but it's plastic. Not. Like it's a softer leather seat.
Maybe that's something they can work on.
Oh yeah.
So there is something in the textures, the 3D textures, that's called depth mapping. All right, it's a layer of texture that will affect the reflectivity and the angle of the texture and give it some rough edges and stuff like that. And technically, if you only use this layer, if you remove all the textures and the color, but just keep that depth map, you should be able to feel the aircraft and see it being realistic. And most of the previews that we observe for like aircraft heaven or something, when they post pictures without textures, they use those depth map textures. It feels real. I feel like this aircraft, if you remove all the textures, it's just cardboard. It's just like flat.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because it does look plasticky. That's the only thing to me that's wrong with this aircraft. I mean, obviously I haven't flown this one yet, so I'm hoping it flies well and performs well, but it just looks plastic.
So no official price has been announced yet, although the team are looking at a price tag of around $30 or more, or 30 euros or more. We also got in touch with them, and the product will be released for FSX, FSX Steam, P3D, and P3D V4, says the team at FS Elite. Overall, Sparks, because you have often flown the older one, if you had to choose which one was better, just based on what you see today, visually speaking, which one looks better?
It's a tough choice, man. It's a tough choice.
We'll leave it at that. It's a tough choice, and that's not a bad thing. Preview of the PMDG 747-8. Not 800, -8. Did I do that right?
Yeah,
-8 right. with RS Randazzo. This one brought to us by Mr. Gibbon. Who's excited about the 747-8 expansion?
I'm excited on the 747.
Period. At all times.
Period. Yeah. All times. This one especially because it has some neat little tweaks that are very interesting for us P3D V4 users.
So
namely
this one,
rain effect.
This one had a little preview nugget released midweek, right? It was just like a series of screenshots, and then boom, the tail of the -8. And then all of a sudden, now here we are getting like a slew of photos after it's been officially confirmed, I guess. What are some of the nugget? What's the golden nugget here for V4 users? The rain?
Yeah, the rain on the windshield. We've talked about this when we covered True Glass, and the fact that PMDG would most likely be the ones to say, no, we'll just take the technology and build our own.
Build our own. Yeah. And they did. Of course.
It remains to be seen. It remains to be seen how good it will be, if it's better than the True Glass, or if it's just like a laggy version of it.
Look at the wipe. Where the wiper...
That does look hot. That does look hot.
It's good.
But if the animation is 3 frames per second, it's not worth it. You know, they have to improve the frame rate of the wipers themselves. Otherwise, it's just like tick 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 tick.
Oh, you mean the same animation as the 737 yoke movement?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, 747. The gear is made that way, the flaps are made that way, the animation of the wing is made that way, the wipers are sluggish as hell. I hope they improve it. They have to improve it. They have no not to.
A lot of people are waiting for this one, man.
Yeah. They have EFBs as well.
The
And,
tablets on the side, yeah?
Both sides. Both sides.
And I guess if you look into those, people, I think, if you take on the details that are in there, most likely we'd be able to guess some of the features that it has.
And they're independent of each other as well, as you can see here.
Yeah.
Which is pretty damn cool.
You get Netflix on one of them.
I hope they put the browser in there, but they most likely won't.
As you
display as well.
As you read through this update, it's important to note here that the 747-8 is a very different airplane than the -400. While that might seem like an obvious comment, there are a vast number of switch layout and cockpit and system changes between the two airframes. We've modeled them all for you. Many of them are evident in the sequence of images below. Yeah, the EFB's real nice.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And a runway advisory as well.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
There seems to be charts on the display. Would that be like a partnership with Navigraph or something?
We do not expect to begin working on that integration until after the 747-8 has been released, so it'll come at a later time. Interesting. But it says we are planning to offer a similar style solution to users of Aerosoft's charting solutions. So it sounds like, once again, they're just going to build their own of something.
Oh, so much time is wasted. Stop doing that.
Right? Because
God.
they could have just had Navigraph integration, right? But this is saying they're planning on building something similar to something else. So it doesn't sound like we're going to be offering an integration.
Why not if you have Aerosoft EFB and it would just pull that in?
Yeah.
I mean, if the solution doesn't exist, or if it doesn't cover all of what you want, maybe that's a good reason to build something new. Maybe that's the case there. But can you imagine, like, if they just would stop wasting their time doing that and actually working on some stuff, it probably would be released by now. Yeah. I would expect it to be released, but maybe there's a reason. I don't know.
There's some of the reasoning right there.
Aerosoft EFB, I use Aerosoft EFB all the time, and it's got all the charts you need, everything you need there, and as Edson says, it's a one-product company. It's all they do. So
what's their reason behind it?
Yeah, but it's made. It's there. It's done.
We recognize
PMDG say we want to use your thing
because they're PMDG, bro. They don't want to use anybody's shit. They just make their own. We recognize that some users do not want to have a subscription to a navigation charting service, but we do not anticipate having any free options that are compatible with our EFB. Primarily for the same reason we have held off on the EFB creation for this long. There aren't any good unified sources of data that we feel can be relied upon to justify the work investment required. So sounds like, yeah. Whatever.
Well, they use Navigraph for their AirAC, so
yeah.
Because now you'll end up with like multiple subscription services for the same purpose, and that's just, they are expensive. Let's be honest, for what they are.
We'll have pricing and release schedule information for this airplane once we get some feedback on her from the beta team. We've intentionally withheld her from beta testers in order to keep all the new goodies and some we haven't showed you yet under wraps. There are exciting times ahead, says Robert. Indeed. Another one to keep our eyes open for.
You know what? I'm going to be upgrading.
Yeah, I know, of course.
I'm going to be upgrading just so I can see Kevin's new immersion effects on it.
Yeah.
Yes. Another TrackHat. This one brought to us by Angeli. TrackHat Plus.
Is this any different from TrackHat without a plus?
TrackHat Clip Plus is a 3D printed, low-cost alternative to TrackIR, and what a wonderful product it is. In the box, a PS3 eye camera, TrackHat Clip Plus, a camera clip, modern monitor mount, some instructions, and a USB type to micro USB cable. The clip and monitor mount feels well built and sturdy. The instructions are very thorough. Although typing in the links in the included booklet is a little bit annoying, the online content is very informative, so it's well worth the effort. Our latest and greatest wireless head tracker, the TrackHat Clip Plus. The TrackHat Clip Plus head tracker brings wireless tech to head tracking and PC gaming, giving you the freedom from cables while making no sacrifices on quality. So this is it's something that is 3D printed and looks a little bit rough. That's some rough 3D printing. 50 bucks.
Looks like my Hat Clip Pro, just a bit bulkier because obviously it's got a battery in it.
Yeah, it's bulky, but I think the finish is not.
That finish is very rough. My God, that's a rough finish. Put a little Bondo, on there, sand it off, paint it black, make it smooth for the shot. I don't know, like, but it's cheap, I guess. Like, it's 50 bucks.
Well, 50 bucks is not cheap.
But it's got the technology in it too, right? Like, it's not just a housing.
The technology is the placement of the LEDs and the battery that goes in there.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of technology, it's not that complicated.
All it's doing is lighting two infrared things.
Rechargeable through any USB port with a micro USB cable, fully charged in 30 minutes, and looks like an astonishing 10 plus hours of battery time with each charge. It's a great idea. It's a great idea that no one really got to, and it's great. I'm glad to see that on the market, but 50 bucks for that is it's a bit steep in my
Actually, there was a way of doing a wireless one with your regular Hat Clip Pro.
Yeah, it was a bit bulky though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was using a battery from like a camera or something. You know, your little USB batteries. Attaching that to your headset. And plugging it in.
I think it's
so it's like you're at a television studio with a pack in the back.
Yeah.
I think the whole purpose of it is being sturdy, because the one that comes with TrackIR is flimsy.
I was just about to touch on that, right? Like, isn't the big thing about this clip the fact that the original one, like, you drop it and like that's it, clip broken.
Yeah.
Exactly. They made a mention to that specifically. We invested in a brand new 3D printing technology to make sure that the TrackHat Clip Plus is flawlessly strong and light. It weighs only 50 grams and has been drop tested from a height of 10 feet on a hard surface with no damage whatsoever. That's now addressed.
I haven't broken mine. I don't know. These people keep breaking them.
Dude, I looked at it for too long and it broke. It's insane. I mean, they under-engineered the heck out of it.
Right there. It's over there.
Yeah,
but look at it real hard and you'll see it will break.
That's why it hasn't broken, is because you A, don't use it, and B, don't even look at it because it's behind you.
I do look at it, and I do use it occasionally on Elite Dangerous.
Yeah, but that's a great. I'm actually glad that they did that. It's really cool, and I like the technology that goes into that. But when you look, when you break it down, and if you have someone that has a 3D machine, you can make one of those for much cheaper than this.
So the TrackHat Clip Plus, here's a good comparison, right? That's the original TrackHat Clip. The Plus kit, this is the kit, includes the camera and the Clip Plus.
Oh wait, it includes the camera. That changes a lot of things then.
61 pounds. It goes up a bit. Yeah. But it does include, and the mount for the monitor, yeah.
Yeah, okay, with the camera included, that's a fair price.
That's actually not bad, man. That's like,
no, that's a lot cheaper than TrackIR.
For a few, anyway, for 70 bucks, I can finally play with like this technology myself instead of laughing at people that turn like this. Well, still,
better than having your phone on your head, right?
Trying to look at their monitor when they're like looking out their left wing. No, it might be worth a try at some point. But the first thing I'm gonna do is take this TrackHat Clip Plus. I'm gonna fill in the gaps in that 3D printing. I'm gonna sand it all smooth. I'm gonna spray it with a fresh coat of black, and I'm gonna make it a beautiful product. Because I don't care.
Paint over the sensors.
No, I will not pay over the sensors. I'm gonna turn it into a $99 TrackHat Clip Plus Extended HD. The next dimension. I'm picking up good vibrations, says Tomcat UK. How to add another dimension of realism to your flight sim by adding audio and software-based base shaker transducers to your sim. This is crazy. So we think we're pretty cool cats. I mean, I'm in here in the California sun. By the way, that's why I'm wearing the shades. Wearing my shades, talking airplanes. We think we're hot shit. And then I met this guy. My man is cool. And I'll show you why he's cool, right? Not only does he have a pretty dope ass sim pit, right? But he gets down and dirty with some equipment right here. Oh, that sounds so bad. But I mean, he's sitting here with all this crazy measuring equipment and, you know, showing the audio waves that A2A builds into this Comanche. And talking about how he's gonna get these audio waves to basically line up with his like homemade butt kicker solution. Top wave is the butt kicker. Sorry, top wave is A2A. Bottom wave is the butt kicker. And so as he retracts the gear, you'll see a little bump, a little blip in the lower one as it locks into place right here. Boom. And so you visually get to see, and he's fine-tuning his stuff, man. As for the device itself, this does the processing, this does the shaking.
Now this is cool.
Now, come on. Really?
Don't get other ideas, okay, Sparks? It does have a hole in the center, but it's not for that, Sparks. It's not for that.
I fly in some pretty dodgy weather.
Although
and if I was, I'd be flying like this. Because I wouldn't want to sit on that seat.
I'd be gripping my armrest. Ah! So
honestly, I would not. You wouldn't want you'd just be. No, it'd be just like somebody kicking your chair all the time. It'd be like a kid on the back of the bus just kicking you. No, I couldn't deal with it.
So the way that it's built, he's got coils, right? Like coil magnets, basically. So this is the piston itself. It's free floating inside the cylinder itself, and then the cylinder is wrapped with two coils, one at the top part and one at the bottom. And based on what's getting current, he pushes current through the coils, and then it keeps that cylinder basically either being repelled or attracted, from each coil, so causing the shake. These magnets keep it free floating in the center. Strong magnets. I mean, he can't even push the damn thing or pull the thing out. Super strong magnets, but neat solution. Crazy over-engineered.
It's crazy. This is DIY to its finest.
Absolutely industrial. Really, this is like industrial level shit. So having built this, you saw that this had the cylinder mounted to a platform, and then that platform he can mount. He came up with another way, which is exactly. So now you mount not the cylinder, but the piston to a platform. And now you have the heavier part of this device doing the moving. And now look, it's even more intense because the heavier weight of the cylinders was doing the actual shaking on that build. Yeah, dude, absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. He went beyond flight sim as well, and also wired one up in his home theater.
So good.
This is cool, man. Like, I'm not joking. I'm not lying. Like, I'd love to have that. I'd love to have that.
I couldn't do it, man.
But think about it, right? Like, you have people that live above you. You have people that live below you. So you can either add a massive subwoofer to really give you the feel of a plane, or you add vibration to give you the effect of bass without the neighbors going bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, but you can get a butt kicker, right? Those are commercially available products. You can
Right.
get those.
Yeah,
It's
but
easy to set up.
this is like a custom built.
Yeah, that's a cool one.
It's a cool one, definitely. Yeah. I think
And no, that's not me.
Spark Smudge, is that you?
That's your brother.
Just more cool stuff for the flight sim, man. I love it. I do. I would totally rock that. I would.
No, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Thank you, Tomcat. VSKYLABS major project for 2018 announcement. Let's check this out. I think I know which one this is. Solar Impulse 2 project is being designed especially for VR experience for the X-Plane flight simulator. Specific to VR.
Yeah.
Specific to VR. There are no images, I think, past this one of the thing in a simulator. But this is the solar plane that flew around the world, right? No refueling, no anything, just sun power. This is kind of cool,
great.
man.
Yeah.
Takes gliding to a next level. I mean, imagine if somebody's able to recreate that flight in sim. Like, that's cool.
Who would honestly attempt to do it again in sim?
Well, you flew around the world. I
did.
think you're exactly the kind of person that would attempt to do it in sim. See, silence. He would.
Is that a challenge?
You know what? Sparky? That's a challenge. I think you
And you'll have to
should.
stream it.
I think you should. This should be your next challenge right here. In X-Plane, you fly around the world in this solar plane.
Do the same legs.
No, well, you can you have to optimize. You have to follow theirs so that you optimize your exposure to the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, you follow that because theirs is all documented.
You do that live on stream, and that gives every host on TSL a break for a week. Or even more than a week. I don't know how much the real one lasted. How long?
No,
it lasted.
you leave TeamViewer open on your machine, so you go to sleep. I'll log in and fly it, and then then we switch off back and forth.
There's another pilot in there. You don't have to monitor the entire thing.
I'm sure there is, maybe. No, super cool. There isn't too much more information on it outside of 2018 sometime. February is dedicated to updating the entire VSKYLABS fleet with VR capabilities. That's going to include the DC-3. That's cool. Wow. The DC-3, C-47 in VR.
Yes.
That's going to be cool. But there isn't too much more detail regarding the release of the Solar Impulse 2. Sparky, the challenge is yours, my friend. You've got to do it.
I might hold you to it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Clip of the Week. This one brought to you by Mr. Branding Iron. And I know exactly what this is. Swallowed by Mother Nature, it's titled. First of all, I can't even explain why my Earth was split this way, but it's like the Trump wall or something. Like, I think that they should have opted for a ditch instead of a wall. It probably would have been more effective.
Oh my God! You're right. You went right to it.
It's like Star Wars trench run, isn't it?
So the problem was I'm in an F-14 and I was going full speed with the wings swept back. So I didn't have, you know, when they're swept back, you're going. Oh, that's a bad symbol to make. I should not stretch that way. You're going straight ahead. You know, you're going straight ahead.
Washington Post, you're watching.
No, you're not gonna get me doing that kind of shit, YouTube. Leave that for PewDiePie. You're going straight ahead, man. You're not turning when you have the wing swept back. But I saw this and I had to go, but I didn't get my speed down in time. So I take this turn and try to hit the valley, and obviously it didn't work, and then it just swallowed me anyways. So I still, it's unexplained. I don't know why it split that way to begin with, but it sure as hell did make for a good clip of the week. In fact, I think it made for multiple clips.
Yeah.
It's time for Worth Mentioning. This is the speed round. Worth mentioning. Updates, releases for things we've talked about, things that don't make the main news, but are worth mentioning. After this sip of water, here we go.
La Croix.
La Croix. WF Scenery releases Beijing Capital International Airport. That's one I have to check out. Sparky, we should both check that out because we like these different regions, and I don't think I have much out that way. PSA, Flight Factor A320 Ultimate Beta will be available soon. That's X-Plane. Turbine Sound Studios PC-12 Preview. Sparky says no. What does Sparky say? What does Sparky say? Yes? Do you say yes? Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. Because I like the PC-12. Having custom sounds on that, because I hear them go over my head at work all the time, will be cool. UK 2000 EGKK Gatwick Extreme, now released for X-Plane. We were gawking over that last week. That's a buy. NMG Simulations release or Tambo International Airport, that's Johannesburg. More Turbine Sound Studios previews the Cessna 208 Caravan.
They both are PT6s, so I would expect them to be both the same sound or similar.
Wait, hold on. Like just repackage the exact same sound. And...
Yeah, both of them are PT6 engines, so I would expect it to be basically the same thing. Think about it. Well, maybe there's some differences, but the engines.
You know what? I'm not the 60 minutes in investigative type, but FS Elite, are you listening? FS Elite, are you listening? We have a job for you. Buy both of these because you don't expect promo copies, and compare them. Thank you. Madrid 2018 freeware released by Fabio. This is a cool one. I did have a peek at that because I did not buy a custom Madrid yet. I had a peek at this and I want to install it. Sparky, did you install it yet?
No.
Not yet. Okay, so we'll have a peek and maybe chime in on that next week. Just Flight PA-28 Warrior 2 for X-Plane preview trailer. You might say, guys, that's a trailer. Why didn't you show it? Because it looks just like every other Warrior and Arrow that got released.
Yes, that's right.
Quality Wings. Quality Wings is seeking beta testers for the 757 and the BAE 146. I'm probably way too late for this, but I would love to test the 146. Aerofly released for Mac. Mac users rejoice, even though you won't have the video cards to run it. Major update for AFM's M20R. Just Flight releases another Avro Vulcan pick. It's the underside. It looks like the underside of a plane. Dravitsky Design releases Talon X V2. I'm always down for some Dravitsky Design. A correction on that as well. Last week, Sparky mentioned that one of their sceneries did not have working jetways, and we did have a comment that said it did, and that you don't use the default jetway key, that you use Control D or something like that, or something.
J.
No, not Control J, it's Control D or something like that to get it to work. Check out the comments for last week's show. DCS 2.5 is out now. And last but definitely not least, FS2 Crew is ready for the Mad Dog X release. And so am I. Because I am waiting for that plane. And I love FS2 Crew products. I love it so much that we worked with FS2 Crew to lock in some discounts for supporting patrons of the channel. So if you are a supporting patron, head over to the Sky Lounge TV/partners to get your discount code and get ready for the Mad Dog release. Ladies and gentlemen, another wonderful show. I want to thank Mr. Sparks and Mr. Biarzed for joining. I don't even know what to call you anymore these days, Biarzed. You changed it again. It's just Kevin again.
Yeah, just Kevin.
Just Kevin. I like that. Change it to just Kevin, please. Yes?
Trademark.
Just Kevin.
Just Kevin.
And then trade, yeah, by justkevin.com. Hold on. We'll catch you all next week for episode 52. Until then, everybody, Sky 5. And now I'm off to enjoy the California sun because it's daytime here.
Yeah, go to bed.
63, climb maintain 13 down.
13,000, Tempo 63.
463, contact the New York Center 128.3.